Good night of Shabbos. Good night of Shabbos. Parshas Kiseitze, Tafshin Pei Aleph. Getting closer to the Ne'ilah of the year. And as you know, when we get into Ne'ilah, it's the most elevated times. It gets intense. It gets more real. It gets more urgent, so to speak. There's work to be done. The work has been done. It's a Yerida L'Tzorech Aliyah. We're getting into a time and place where before we go from Gan Eden Atach to Gan Eden Elyon, we have to go through the Nahar Dinner. The Nahar Dinner is it's a stream, it's a tach, it's a river that the neshama goes through, and it forgets everything that it knew before in order to be able to receive what's coming. Because we can't really process, if I'm still processing with my old processor, the way I'm from my old Kalim, the way it was, receiving new information, I'm still processing it from my old way of being, my klein kepelikad, small minds, from my restraint, from my meitzar. How can I receive more if I still have the same way of thinking, if I still have the same keli, I can only put in the same amount of water in it. So it's as we get to the end of the year, it gets a little there's a little restrained. There's restrictions. It may look like confusion. It may look like it's the unknown, and these are all great signs of that we are exactly where we need to be. Now that we know who we are, we know what we stand for, we know our source, we know what we represent to source. That we are Atzmas Imahus. I'm sorry, not Atzma take the Atzmas Imahus. That's a different ballgame. So there were two topics over here that were discussed. They were in a discussion. There was two topics that we wanted to bring up this week. One was it says this week, when we go out to war, those Mechemes Shuz and or other types of wars, that was a command from the Eibusher said that we should go out and conquer. And there was a fast story, if you see a beautiful woman, because back then they would dress up the women to distract the warriors, the soldiers, and through that distraction, they were able to get through to as we say, manipulate their strength and confuse them, to give them the edge. And if somebody sees a fast toyer and brings v'chashakteba and wants to take it for a woman, he has to take her in. He should take off her hair, and he should not let her nails grow. And like this, he should, after 30 days, after 30 days, if he still wants her, then he can marry her. So the question was asked as to, we're dealing here with, we knew that when we go out to war, we're dealing with tzaddikim here. We're dealing with tzaddikim at the level where we saw last week that the Kohen, that they were announcing anybody that built a new house and he didn't live in it yet, or he planted new trees and he didn't eat from it, and he just got married, or if you have any type of Avera that you feel that you are not connected. Avera is a chet. A chet is not something that was a chet. The touch of a chet is, it means it's a target. Chet means I missed my target. So we know that our target is 613 targets, 613 mitzvahs plus 7, the mitzvahs that are abundant. And if I miss one of those, then I'm not connected to my source. And if I'm not connected to my source, then I go out to war where I need to, I'm putting myself in danger. We're going to explain that in a minute. We'll elaborate on that. So therefore, if any of these things, if you failed in any of those, you're not complete, then don't go to war. You can go home. So the question is, we're talking about such level of tzaddikim, such level of tzidkas, where they were rechvatig, they were perfectly aligned, and all of a sudden he sees a woman, he gets excited about it. So what do we need to say to the point where the Rashi says that if the Torah gave us a heter, but if it didn't give us, why was the Torah matter? Because if it wasn't allowed, then we're afraid that it's gonna be done we're gonna be over on the Isser. So the question is, what do we, since when, if there's something that the Torah is afraid we're not going to be able to do, there's a heter for it. There's a lot of things that I want, and the Torah says no, and the Torah doesn't take into consideration that I may go over, that may be over on that. So first of all, we have to understand when we go out to Milchama, what is the Milchama Levecha? And as the Rebbe explains in the Sichos and all the Chassidish Forum talk about it, we're talking here about a war, and the Yetzer Tov, the Yetzer Hara comes to us. It's a avodah. It's a war on Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh Bahamas. As the Rebbe says, Shvisu Shivi Milchama Zoi Hainu Milchemes HaYetzer Ha'oyev Shel Adam. This is the Yetzer, which is the enemy of the Adam. Adam is, we represent Adam, and there is a war because there's all types of restrictions and all types of obstacles in my way of being Adam. Right, we have the Panei Arya, we have the Panei Shoir, Panei Arya, and then we have the Nesher, and then we have the Adam, which we are ultimately, we want to get to the place of Adam, and Adam is where we're Tzelem Elikim, where we receive that's from the Tzelem Elikim, from the source itself, and from that goes into the Behemoth, which feeds my midas. So we're talking here about when a tzaddik goes out in Milchama, I go out to my day-to-day, and I see something. When he saw a woman, there was no way in his mind that he sees something, a beautiful woman like this, that there isn't a nitzus or a bitter that could be done or has to be done from that, through that. That's what we're dealing with. We're clearly not dealing over here with any type of physical temptation, because we understand now this is another. We need to connect the dots over here, that when I see something nice and something that I want, we have to see the chelegelakai in that. Nothing is here stamazoi. Choshech, my oyev, my enemy is confusing me. He's telling me that I want this, I need that, so I can be more comfortable. And really, it's all in Avodas Hashem. It's all to get my Adam. What is Avodas Hashem? Avodas Hashem is not to repress and suppress myself, my feelings. Avodas Hashem is that I'm in proper flow, that I'm connected to my source of Adam. Because when I'm blocked in the middle, when I have from between my highest consciousness, which is called Adam, and I have my Nesher, and I have my Arya, and I have my Shoir, it has to go through all these three processes in order to be completed. And when I'm not connected to my Adam, to my source, I'm in a state of confusion. I'm in a state of anxiety, depression. I want to, I need to, I don't feel good. I'm confused. There's a block of energy from Oinig to Nega. So it tells us the Torah that there is an avodah here which is taka for tzaddikim, only for somebody that's rechtvaartig and ish yasher, that is already at the level that he feels that he sees something in there, that he can go in there, he has to go into the choshech in order to bring out the nitzes, to be mavarad and tzotzes. So the Torah tells us, go for it. Go for it, and make sure, taka, that you're doing it l'shem shemayim. That it has to be done in a way that grow her hair, take off her hair and grow the nails. It should look ugly, and then from that place you have to find your compassion. And sometimes that in itself is the avodah, that I recognize that everything I do, that I'm connected. I want to be aligned with my Adam. So that's the vart on that. And clearly we're talking here about the midas. When we go out to war, to Milchama, there's we're conquering the midas. There is the from the Kanani, Echitemoida, Prisia, Avisi, all that from the Kananim, everything the Torah tells us we have to kill them all, not to live a single, nobody. Everything has to be wiped out. So what we're talking about here is certain midas, certain taivas that were eliminated, like Avodah Zarah. We don't have it anymore, not the way it used to be. We still have Avodah Zarah, which is idol worship, which is the way we conduct in business and money-wise, how we chase the dollar, thinking that this is our God. If I work more, this is also idol worship. It's still here, but not the way it was, because we can already get through our thick skull, starting to understand that there's a bigger picture over here. By me doing, I'm not doing anything. The lie is being exposed. I can see that no matter how many hours I worked, for him it works out. For me, it doesn't work out. So what does that mean? So there must be that there's a higher cheshbon. Not as Choshech is telling me that I need to work harder. And then to say like, oh, if this guy, if he can make it by not complying with 100% Torah mitzvahs, that gives me the right to, or I should also follow. No, that's not the way it is. The second question was, Kila ish ben and then if there is a kid, a child, if a person has a child, that's a Seder Murder. In other words, the Taichan that is, to be clear with this, is he drinks wine and he steals, he eats meat and all that good stuff. So the question is over here, what does it mean that we're telling a parent, mother and a father, to go take that child to get killed because he's off the path and he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing? So there's two nyanim over here. One actually I heard from somebody else, which is a beautiful explanation on this. And the other one is from Chassidus, what we know. It says over here that if he doesn't follow, if he's a Seder Murder, that we have to take him to the Bezin. He has to get skilla. We have to stone this child. And the Chol Yisrael Yishmu v'yirah, the Artera mikabecha. You should clean out the bad from within, b'kibecha, from within. And Chol Am Yisrael, they should hear and they should see. So we also know that it says in the Gemara that it never happened. A Seder Murder never happened. So if because nobody was ever able to match that type of that level, to comply with that level of application to qualify for a Seder Murder. So the question is, if it never happened, why does the Torah even write it? What's going on over here? The Torah knew that it's not going to happen, so it's not going to happen. Then why even put it in there? So the word is as follows. A Seder Murder is, who is a child that goes and turns to wine and to meat? What happened over here? Why is this child turning away? What is this child looking for? What is this Ben Seder Murder? What is he looking for? He's looking for love. He's looking for acceptance. He wants to be seen. He wants to be accepted. His little imagination, his shchina is desperate. It's desperate. He wants to be go back to the place where he's coming from. As he spoke about this, I mentioned this previously, a child comes from a place of ultimate compassion, tremendous compassion. There's a moment when a husband, a wife, a father, and a mother, they get together and they have a yichud. And from that moment of that yichud, the moment of the ultimate moment, that's where a child comes from. Now, being in Gaul is from the minute that child is conceived, in some cases, and in most cases, he never sees that love ever again. The father has to go to work, he has no time to be there. The mother is stressed out with other kids, with all the other burdens that come down on raising a child, and just being to carry a house, to pay the bills, and all types of other baggage that we carry. So this child is born, and once he's born, he never sees that beauty, that connection ever again between a husband and between the father and the mother. Not when he comes home, not when he's a child. He's already put into another room amongst other kids. He's pushed into the world, into life. And if he doesn't receive that type of love that he's yearning for so desperately, he's looking somewhere else for this love. So he turns to alcohol and he turns to meat. He starts eating and he starts drinking. So this is a message to the parents. This is not a message to the child. The child is never going to he's never going to qualify to be a Seder Murder. But the Torah is giving us here a clear, gives us a direction here, that we should be aware. There should be Yishmu v'Yirah. We should pay attention. This concept, this thought was given to us, this concept is given to us that we should learn. As we learn it, we should know that it should never come to that. That when my child comes to a point where he has to turn to meat and wine to be seen, that we have to check ourselves. Because he doesn't say over here that, technically speaking, we should have the people, the neighbors, the community should take the child right? When a child does something wrong, when Chaz v'Shalom he steals or hurts somebody, the parents don't go to the authorities. It's the community, the people around that bring them to the authority. Why mit them all over here? We're telling the parents should take them to the authorities, should take them to the bezdin. Like really, I should take the child to the bezdin. So this is a clear message to us. Yishma v'Yirah, we're talking here about also Yishma v'Yirah is Chachmei Bina, that we should have the understanding, and we should have the foresight, the Royas Anoilad, that when I see my child is not happy, that I should really check myself with that. So a good Shabbos. It should be. We should all take a minute over here as we're getting into the end of the year to really check ourselves, to get real for a minute. And it doesn't take much. It starts with myself. If I love myself, if I have enough compassion for myself, then automatically there's compassion for my loved one, for my wife, and then automatically if there's a happy mother, there's happy children, and vice versa. It goes both ways. So we should stop pointing the fingers at our children, stop deflecting, and even that, it also should be done with compassion. We know that we are deflecting just because we don't know any better. This is how we're trained. We're trained in Gullus to constantly look forward, to keep distracting ourselves with all the flashes and all the social media and all everything that's coming into my face. It's right in me. I can't get away from it. I'm trained to look forward, and I'm trained to run from my past and chasing my future. I'm already planning my trip for Pesach. We don't have a moment for ourselves. So now with the time, we have to live with the times. Time is telling us to stay put. We can't travel again. They're stopping. They want to cover the face. Get into yourself. Get real with yourself. Check yourself. Stop looking out there for a fix. Stop looking out there to blame, to get away from myself. So this is the message the Torah is giving us. Yishma v'Yirah. Chal Yisrael Yishma v'Yirah. We should look inward. And now is a time where in Chodesh Elul, Melech Basada, and what that means is it's tremendous, powerful times right now. Right now, this month that we live in, usually we go through different levels of. It comes to different channels, as we said before. In just to stay on topic, we have the Pnei Shor, we have the Arya. There's different levels of I have my Behem in me, my Shor in me. I have my Arya, my fire in me, which is for my Taivas. Then I have my Nesher, which can also be the chutzpah of Klippa, where he raises himself as an authority. He raises himself as somebody that he has an opinion, when really the Nesher is here for my level of Amunah. Atanfe Nesharim. It's not meant to be to raise myself, my ego, but rather to surrender to a level of Amunah. And from there I can get into my Adam, which is the highest level of peace, serenity. So now in Chodesh Elul is a time of Melech Basada where we bypass all these channels. Literally, our program, as usually I receive from Pesach, I receive through my Behema. We bring the Sa'orim to the Behema, and I'm receiving through many different channels. I have to do in order to receive. Right now is a time you don't have to do nothing. There has to be a Sirasa Lasata, but in a simple way, just put a smile on your face. Be happy. Put an intention in your head. Be happy. Take a deep breath. Breathe into that. And let it manifest. Let it happen. Let it become you. And as I become a different fabric, I become a different fiber, then I attract that, and I become that. When I'm that, that's what mirrors back to me. That's how real it is. We're living in the moment, in the hoiva, and this is the month that we can actually exercise that and execute that. L'chaim, have an awesome Shabbos. Don't forget to say L'chaim. In order to get to that place, sometimes we need to, excavate, go very deep, and it's hard to do without proper fuel. So if you need to fuel, say L'chaim. L'chaim, L'chaim.